Hi everyone.
Hi.
We're back with another sister and
Sistahspace.
This time it's a bit
different.
Yeah. So we're not coming at you with our normal stuff.
Gimmicks and banter and all that stuff today. It's a bit more serious.
Exactly. And we're not prepared at all. It's just that there was current affairs or that we thought we should address in the moment as opposed to wait in and doing a vlog and whatever. We really think it's something urgent that needs to be discussed and put up now. So please bear with us and forgive us if we're a little bit unprepared. So yeah, do any of you want to talk about what this is actually about, what the issue is?
I'm sure once this comes out, everyone would kind of be aware of the deportation flights and the charter flights that's been circling around the media and the news and social media. I think the urgency, in all honesty, for this this vlog is that it's a little closer to home.
Yeah.
So one of the deportees is actually someone we know personally and have known for the majority of our lives.
Yeah. So what I'll explain is there is a flight, or was.
There was.
That went, I'm not sure when this will get out, but this is Wednesday the 6th of February, and the original flight was to be for 50 people to be deported to Jamaica
on the 18th.
Well, but any time between, I think it was
the 5th and the 18th.
But everyone was led to believe that it would be the 18th.
Yeah, so that got brought down to, after a lot of legal action and petitions and etc., that got brought down to 29 people.
And conveniently to me, the petition was supposed to be tomorrow or the day after. So before we'd even get the chance to go and march and protest. Sorry, not the petition. The flight was brought forward.
A lot of underhand behaviour has been going on. So nobody is really clear about what's supposed to happen, when it was supposed to happen, and the details. What we do know is that families have been ripped apart by, I think it's mainly black men or
well, if they're going back to Jamaica, it would be
going back to Jamaica.
Black.
Some who've been here for 20 years longer, maybe some as I think 14 years was the minimum or something like that. However, they've been here long enough to make a family and a life here.
And a lot of them are estranged from back home, not in contact, or some not in contact, not familiar with even basic things like the currency and the weather.
They don't have any support network in Jamaica, but they've just been deported, thrown out, and the consequences to the families left behind is dire.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Sergeant Javed, I don't know if I'm saying that correct, he's a British politician.
The Home Secretary.
Yeah, and he went,
Isn't that Saeed?
No, Sergeant. And so he's from the Home Secretary or Home Office or however you want to address it, and he's actually been quoted saying that these people on the flight are 29 serious foreign criminals, and they include and these are his words, and they include murderers and rapists. And our issue is the person we know personally that is on the flight is none of the above, and it's painting a very negative picture of these people and criminalising them to an extent that there is a damage beyond repair. And
I personally feel like the titles that were given, sorry to interrupt you, was kind of to soften the fault. So instead of people seeing, oh my gosh, they've taken innocent people, it's like, oh, maybe they deserve it because they're rapists and criminals. Yeah. That's what I think the purpose of labeling.
Of course. I mean, if I didn't know if we didn't know the person personally, I would have assumed also, wow, there's some pretty major crimes, as they put, and the fact that they put serious foreign criminals when a lot of these people are actually classed as British citizens
and see themselves as British.
Yeah, it's like, wow, when there's an issue at hand, there comes the foreign, but when there's something beneficial or something good to be proud of, they're natives. If you want to take the Olympics for example.
But one of the things that really concerned me is that the treatment before they were deported, which in the centres.
So before you go into that, I want, if you don't mind, to give a bit of a backstory as to the person we know, who they are in regards to their family and what they've left behind.
Okay. Well, I've known this person for 20 years, 19 years, and then some. And I know that he's not a rapist or a murderer
and has never been tried as one or accused as one or anything of the above.
But what I have to put over is the fact that that statement is being put out there labelling everybody and tying them with the same brush,
Yeah.
to use a very British term, and with no thought to the children or the people left behind.
Yeah, so this person that we know is from a family of 4. He has a son and a daughter, very young children.
Who are at very crucial ages, might I add, for the whole terminology of like single parents at a certain age. His son is going to be a teenager in a week and his daughter's just turned 16.
Exactly.
So these are all very crucial ages where both parents are very much needed in the household.
And the children are very aware of the situation, very aware. And I'll give you a bit of backstory. They were left with 5 minutes to find out whether he was actually going to be deported or not.
And say goodbye.
And in that 5 minutes they were told, pack a suitcase, he's being deported. And it was almost a case of they had 5 minutes to say goodbye and 5 minutes to pack a suitcase, to my understanding. And they were told that
to repack the suitcase.
They were told that the belongings they brought him was too heavy and that he had a limited amount, and they had 5 minutes to repack the suitcase and 5 minutes to say goodbye to them. So
and this was at early hours of the morning,
because
on
at
a school night.
3:30 this morning, I was talking with his wife. Because at that point we were still waiting for a reprieve.
Yeah.
You know, you can't believe that. For example, a major milestone birthday.
Yeah.
Both of them just passed. Then they had Christmas and the New Year and the 16th birthday, and coming is the 13th birthday, as we said, and now all of a sudden, their heart's been ripped out of that family.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they were actually told that the date of like deliberation was to be like 1 or 2 weeks from now. So the date actually got brought forward without any kind of prior warning or notice or anything like that. So
one of the points I think I need to make is that the Home Office needs to get their act together. You're charging people thousands and thousands of pounds to get their legal status correct. They're not allowed to claim benefits. Fair enough.
To work.
They're not allowed to work, but they have to find these really high fees to pay for something that may or may not happen. All right. Now, there's no justification for criminal behaviour. There's none. Yeah. But I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, if you have a job to do, then there's a way to do things.
So what
I feel like... Sorry, go ahead.
What I want to just make clear is we are in no way justifying any acts of criminal behaviour, anything out of the law or anything like that, but what we want to stress is, and we haven't even gone into the treatment that these people have received, what we want to stress is human rights and humanity within these situations. People are being picked up off the street, they're going to work, they're going to job centres, they're going to all these places and literally being detained from these places without prior warning, without notice, without all of these things to their family. It's more than a kidnapping.
So your partner could go to the shop, literally, like he's done for the last 19 years,
and not come back.
And all of a sudden he doesn't come back. Now you bring in the hospitals, you bring in everybody else, and then they turn from a human to a detainee. No ID, no rights, and the state that they are left in is not correct.
I want to touch on the actual flight itself.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that the times that they do it, I feel is very intelligent. I feel like if they didn't feel like, you know, they say the term a thief in the night. That's technically how I would refer to this charter flight as, because you're technically stealing
kidnapping.
It's like she said, modern day kidnapping. And the time of the night, I feel like at a time where people are not awake, people are not aware, because a lot of people of the detainees aren't even aware. Even now, it's like almost 24 hours.
They wake up,
and by the time they're already gone, and it's like, how do you process that? And on the flights themselves, they're literally handcuffed from the waist down with their hands. Traveling from London to Jamaica is not a short flight. It's up to 9-10 hours.
One thing I want to make clear, it's not all of them that are chained from the waist down, but a lot of them are. But
everyone's chained. Everyone, not chained, handcuffed. Sorry,
everyone
chained, isn't it?
Every one person has minimum 3 police escorts. And what I want to make very clear is these aren't prisoners. These aren't people that are actively in prison that have been deported. These are people that have been released. These are people that are continuing on with their life. These are people that have
served. If they have done something, and we don't know the details of the other people.
Yeah, and we don't know how.
What I do know is if people have served their time, then why are you still treating them a certain way? And what gives the home? Is it the right to put this information out about them, which you don't know for sure, because a lot of the feedback that's coming back is incorrect.
Yeah, just to finish on my point of the charter flight, so just to finish my point, was that the person that we know, he conveyed a message to us where he was actually in a room waiting for the decision, or waiting for, I think he was sleeping or something, in conditions we've left him with like bites and all kinds of, that's a whole nother story.
In England.
But he said he was woken up to 8 police officers in riot gear
for this one person, and there's no
resisting, he wasn't even aware of why they were there until they obviously arrived in the room and told him what was happening. And he even had said to them, like, I'm not resisting, like, if that's what's happening, that's what's happening, kind of thing, because being detained, you know, there's a slim chance, hopefully a slim chance, that you may get deported. So he knew what he was there for. But 8 in riot gear for an unarmed one person,
good enough.
Yeah,
this is the message that we need to put out there. It's simply not good enough. You don't have the right to treat people like that. You don't have the right to take away people's human right, whatever you think they may or may not have done. If you're going to do something, there is a way to do things.
What I would say is also what is the level of severity to the crime, because what they're insinuating is the Sajid Javid, whatever his name is, himself was 29 serious foreign criminals, and there are, from what we understand, there are petty crimes. The people that detainees that have been arrested for petty crimes. There is a whole spectrum of criminals and non-criminals, and petty crimes, and from what I gather, 1 murderer and 1 rapist. So why is that being categorised and broadened over the whole 30 to 50?
And do you know what that effect has on the family?
The
because
children
now
when they're at school,
they're exposed to this, you know, this
imagery,
you're ruining lives here.
100%.
Right? You're ruining lives. Don't be a coward. If you've got something to do, and you're doing it for legal reasons, or you're doing it, then don't use name calling or branding to divert the attention off of yourself.
It's similar to what they did the other day. Like, this is like not exactly on the same topic, but it's, to me, it kind of is. In one newspaper, when it was a white teenager that had killed someone, it was teen, whereas when it was a black teenager, it was thug. I feel like it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be racially motivated.
I mean, he says foreign. He doesn't say.
Were they foreign when their grandparents were cleaning your toilets and doing the railways? Were they foreign then?
Before we take it personal, this is the
No, we have to take it personal.
I just want to put the facts out there. I just want to be informative so you guys understand what is going on. Clearly, we're quite moved by the situation, hence what drove us to do this video. But this is actually the first such flight since the Windrush scandal, which was last year. There was a massive uproar, and I think we got a formal apology, but there was no actual.
People died.
Yeah.
You know, no. Let's just take a second, if we will, right? The Windrush scandal was treacherous because people were hounded out of their house, hounded out of jobs, hounded out of the country. Some people died, because they just couldn't take it anymore. Now, these are people that are my age. Yeah. Now, if you were to deport me, where would you send me? I was born and raised here. Have a British passport. Actually, as a registrar, I've given people their British citizenship. But so many people have is it tweeted? I don't know how young people say it. And they've said they no longer feel, as black people in Britain, born in Britain with British passports and no other history anywhere, they don't feel safe. They feel that they can go to the shop and be picked up and deported. Something's very wrong.
Call it what you will. in the comments or wherever you want to call it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I personally feel like this is, again, going back to the system. I feel like you put our boys in detention and exclude them, and then when they get older, you put them in prison. Right now, the prisons are full. There's a particular prison who is over capacity right now. I read online the other day, and so that's not an option anymore. Funding is cut, so that's not an option anymore. So what do you do next? Just send them out of the country?
But you have funding to fund 8 policemen for one person. So
true.
the budget's going somewhere.
Yeah. There's police that you've got a shortage of. Why you can't find them on the street? It's because you've got 3 or 8 to 1 person going to Jamaica. So if there's 50 people or 30 people going, you times that by 3 policemen minimum.
Yeah.
What's the budget here? Okay? I mean, we can talk about economics, but what about the families that are left behind? Because I'm looking at the black families. It's just that point. Every day we're seeing murders on the street. Usually, not always, but majority black boys. Yeah. Now their role models, their father figures, and everybody else is just shipped out. Okay.
For me, the question I ask is, to what extent, what are the determining factors that stop you being British? Because I've read that Theresa May and Sajid Javid have now authorised a stripping of a British citizenship, even if that leaves you stateless. So what conditions determine, okay, I'm going to justify this action and strip that person of their citizenship? Because if we're British, if you enter this country legally and you've been here 10 years, 20 years, you're born here, or this is all you know, what then gives you the right? What, as a criminal, now, if we're going to say offenders, so a white British citizen can get their citizen stripped, but a black British citizen gets their citizen stripped and gets deported to a culture they don't know, or to a country they don't know.
And
these
when
aren't
they
things
take
that
them
other
there,
cultures have to face. So why is it being thrown about like it's normal?
I read online a woman who was sent to Jamaica via the same charter flight on a deportation. She was given a leaflet, and on the leaflet it said avoid this place, walk in the daytime, all these safety precautions, and then it highlighted that you should basically do your best to act Jamaican or speak Jamaican.
Wow.
On the actual leaflet. Another thing I wanted to say that I was going to say earlier was, when you're taking these people away from their homes, accommodation, away from their, whether it be benefits or a well-paid job, their livelihood, their finance, when you take them to these places where they're of course alienated, is there like a hostel where they at least get one meal? What happens? And let's not sugarcoat things. Everywhere in the world has their ups and their dangers. Jamaica is a beautiful place, just like most places, but it too has its dangers. What are we doing to what safety measures are put in place to safeguard these people? The elderly, those who, like, a lot of these men are elderly men who have like health problems that are on medication that they rely on to live from the NHS or from whatever. What happens to them?
My friend is in his 50s and in ill health. Okay. One of the points that I think we need to raise is, who are the decision makers? Who are the people sitting down and deciding things and policies that will change black lives? We tend to find that the higher up the scale you go, the less you'll find ourselves reflected. Therefore, these decisions about us are made without us.
Where is this flight to India?
I was just going to say.
Where is this flight to Ireland?
Just going to say that.
Where is this flight to Scotland or America? And what I want to stress is that the family that we know are now making multiple calls to even track down
where they
their
are.
father.
It's what's happening tonight.
Not even a Jamaican SIM card. So how are you going to?
They've not been given anything. A lot of these people on the flight do not even have family that are alive.
Did the flight land safely?
We don't know anything, and it's
you have a duty of care.
Yeah.
Listen.
Definitely.
Britain has a duty of care. Okay, if you do insist on deporting people
unfairly,
you
even
need to follow procedures.
You have to have
so who are the
meals.
decision makers? Who is going to call this Home Secretary
families and
to account for his careless words? Because careless words cost lives.
Okay? One thing we want to put out as well, if there are any families that have been affected by this, similarly,
please reach out.
We're doing all we can. We're setting up pages, GoFundMe, and bringing awareness to the situation, because it's really not fair, and a lot of it is things that have been brushed under the rug, because these are generations of people that don't necessarily know the level of support that you can get through social media and publicity, and have no means or no access to that. So if we can be that middleman, or anybody else can.
To conclude, strength in numbers plays a massive part in this, because once again this is something that's global but only directly affects our community, in this case anyway. Leave an email address, comment below, find one of us on social media, reach out if you've been personally affected, or if you're curious or want to inquire. And I hope this was informative.
Don't wait for it to be your country, because it might seem far and distant now with the just 29 to 50 in Jamaica, but tomorrow will be Trinidad, next day will be Barbados,
Ghana, Nigeria.
But even good old, you know, even folks from everywhere.
Of course.
Are outraged.
China, Japan, anywhere.
We have had a lot of support all over the world.
Because we're stronger together.
Yeah. This place is not united, and it's definitely not a kingdom.
Wow. They're not the great out of Britain.
It was never great. We made it great, and then now they think it's great. They send us back. Brexit's coming anyway.
Boy.